An inventory system is crucial for any survival game. It is a fundamental aspect that you need if you want to create a crafting system, building system, and much more. But exactly how do you make an inventory system? To begin, let's create a part or union that we'll be able to pick up. For instance, I'll create 3 parts: wood, stone, and leaves. Of course, you can name them whatever you want, and feel free to add as many items as you want. Afterwards, let's create a module script in replicated storage, and I'll name it item data. A module script is a script that holds tables and data. Feel free to name the variable whatever you want as this variable, as I'll name it item data. And within this table, I'll add whatever items I have. For instance, I have leaves, stone, and wood. And let's start by doing that by just adding wood. Let's equal to table. Pick up sound. Don't worry about this too much for now, as this will be further explained in another video. And now do the same thing for all the other items you have and want to be able to pick up. So wood, leaves, and stone. Next, I recommend having a GUI, as this is what this video is for. Whenever you hover over an item, it'll show a billboard GUI. Make sure you have one, as I will be using the F key as a representative to show that you can actually interact with this item. Don't worry about anything else for now in here. It's just an empty place that I used. Next, let's also insert a script called mouse module from the toolbox by bricey, and put that into replicated storage. I'll explain what this does later. Next, create a script and start a player scripts. Feel free to name it whatever you want. I'll name it inventory handler. Now, to begin, let's make a variable called user input service, or UIS, is equal to game get service user input service. Now, user input service is the service that detects whenever you interact with the game, such as using your keyboard or your mouse. Let's also make one for players. Game get service, player service, and one for replicated storage. Now, going back to these module scripts, let's create a variable for them. So, local mouse is equal to require rs.mouse. Now, what require is used for is to be able to use whatever's inside this module scripts. And now, this mouse script, it's used for detecting whenever your mouse is like clicked or whatever it's hovering over. And now let's create another variable for the local player, player service.player. Next, create one final variable for the pickup GUI you want to use. So what I am using is in replicated storage. So pickup GUI is equal to replicated storage dot pickup GUI. Next, let's create a function for user input service by UIS dot input changed connect function. There we go. Now, what this function does is every time you interact with like your keyboard or your mouse, it'll fire whatever's in here. Now, let's actually use this variable mouse and create a new variable called target is equal to mouse dot get target. Now what this does is it'll just get whatever the mouse is hovering over. For instance, if I'm hovering over stone, then that will be the mouse's target. And Now let's check if the mouse has a target. So if target, then let's also check if whatever you're hovering over is within this table of whatever you want to be able to pick up. So by doing that, you can just do if item data, or whoops, I forgot to actually add a line to reference item data. So local item data is equal to require item data, rs.item data. So now let's create our if statement. If item data target.name, then pickup GUI dot parent is equal to target, and pickup GUI dot adornee is equal to target as well. Now what this whole thing does is every time you say interact with when your mouse hovers over something, whenever you interact with your keyboard and your mouse target is say stone, the billboard GUI will pop up. And here's an example. Now you might notice that it's not disappearing whenever I stop hovering over it, but it'll stop being over this when I hover over something else that you can pick up. And to fix that, just add an else over here and copy paste this, add it over here, and change the pickup GUI's parent to replicated storage and the adornee to nil. And now let's test if it works. It works.